Tonight, we are here together to commemorate the 15th year of the fall of Vietnam, and that's the reason why we're here. And Mr. Robert Miller come tonight and share with us his experience during the war. That's many of us that haven't experienced. And this Mr. Robert Miller. Please welcome Mr. Robert Miller.
I don't think I need the speaker, do I? Can you hear me? Yeah, okay, good. I have one of those voices that seems to project, so if you don't hear me, let me know. Usually people tell me to quiet it down. So. I'm not a public speaker, so you'll have to bear with me. I'm just a good old American that was very fortunate enough to be born in this country. I'm a first-generation American like many of you are. My family came from Poland during the war, the Second World War. And I don't remember it, just like many of you probably don't remember the Vietnamese War. And my family were Jewish immigrants. And the only people that came over to this country that managed to survive the Nazi Holocaust were my mother and my father and my brothers and my sisters. I have no grandparents. I have no aunts or uncles. I have no one to identify with except my parents, who were Jewish, Polish people. And they loved Poland, and they didn't want to leave Poland. But they had to leave because circumstances didn't allow them to live there. They had lived in Poland for over 500 years. But because they were Jewish, they were never allowed to own property. They were never allowed to have anything of real value. They were just allowed to always work for someone else. And so when the Holocaust came and everyone was being killed, they managed to escape. And it took them 5 years to get out of Europe. And my 9 brothers and sisters were born all over the world. I have a sister that was born in Poland. I have one that was born in Switzerland. I have one that was born in England. I have a sister born in Costa Rica. And I have a sister that was born in Galveston, and then I came along. And then I have 4 younger brothers who I'm sure were just accidents. So I was the first really American born here other than my sister. And my parents always told me that you have to have a lot of pride in where you are, but you have to have a lot of pride in where you came from. And they never, ever, ever let me forget that you're an American because you were born here, but you're a Polish Jew because you were born from me. And when the Vietnam War started, I was very young. I had an anthropology course in this building 25 years ago. I can't believe it. I must have only been 12 or 13 at the time, I'm sure. But I sat right back there in 237, and they were trying to teach me physical anthropology, and I was afraid that I was going to be going away to war, and I didn't really pay that much attention to physical anthropology. But I managed to get through school, and all of my friends, a lot of my friends, were coming up with reasons why they couldn't go to Vietnam. And a couple of them went to Canada, so they wouldn't have to go to Vietnam. And a couple of them joined the Peace Corps, so they wouldn't have to go to Vietnam. And some of them did other things so they wouldn't have to go to Vietnam, because it wasn't a very pretty thing that was going on over there. And it wasn't a very pretty thing in this country at that time to be someone who championed the Vietnamese, the South Vietnamese cause. The French had left after think they called it the 30 years of war. The French kind of deserted you, and the Americans went in starting in 1959, but really got moving in the early 60s and the mid 60s. And I kept remembering the things that my parents told me, that I was very, very lucky to be an American, and that if I ever had a chance, I should pay back to someone in the world for the nice things that America had done for them. And so I thought, there are a lot of South Vietnamese people that want to be free, just like my family wanted to be free. They wanted to have the right to get in a car and drive across the city, to drive across the country. And by the way, Vietnam is a very beautiful country. I don't know how many of you have seen it, but it's a very beautiful country. And they wanted to be able to sit like I'm sitting now and talk to people, and talk to their young, and talk with their old, and express themselves without being afraid that they would be shot or put in a camp or disappear. And the South Vietnamese cherished this kind of feeling too. And that's what I wanted to share with them. So I said, yes, I'll go. I want to be able to maybe pay back what I got from America. And I went over to Vietnam, and I was a kind of a brash young man. I know that's probably hard to believe too, but I didn't really know what to expect when I got there. I'd heard a lot. I'd